son. You know.
I'm Isidra Kyles.
I'm Daishan Winters.
My name is Sharon Griffin, and it's a pleasure to meet everyone.
And I'm Rochelle Wallace, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So, ladies, this is my problem. Being a preacher's ex in the making. You guys have had a lot of time to heal. What I need from my sisters is show me how to heal from, or show me where to begin with dealing with my anger, dealing with my hurt, knowing that my husband was gay, having sex with me and not protecting me. Met my husband on Tango Wire. Yes, Dateline. And I am a preacher's ex. I found out that he was a chaplain. Had never been treated like such a queen. A 2-state whirlwind. On that 5 days, he never touched me, never kissed me. Something I'd always been looking for. A man that recognized me and not my body. Birthday weekend, he proposed. I married him 7 days later.
Being a third-generation pastor's wife,
I became a preacher's ex because one day I decided that I was going to choose me.
I was accustomed to the on and off switch, the on switch for the public, the off switch at home. And sometimes I didn't know how to turn it off at home. And so I decided to peel back the layers and say, it's not about who's watching me. It's not about what everybody thinks I should do, how strong everybody thinks I am, because a lot of times as women, we're just naturally strong. Divorce is almost as like losing someone to death. Right. And you have to properly go through the 7 stages of grief. And I accepted that this is not a spiritual thing. There is, I said this to somebody the other day, there is something on the market to help heal every part of us but our hearts.
That's right.
And sometimes it just takes pure time. And I knew it was going to be a process. I knew I couldn't put no oil on it and pray it away. This was not no demon. I was hurt. So I had to first dispel the myths about how to deal with the pain.
I became very angry with God when at the age of 31 years old, I found myself going through a divorce.
As far as beating myself up, because even though my husband was gay, your husband maybe cheated, and your husband cheated, it's still that same feeling of feeling less than. And that's how I felt. What was wrong with me that this wasn't enough, that you needed something else?
I want to deal with the having sex and not protecting me. I know in my marriage, I don't know how many women my husband slept with or whatever. I am a 2 times preacher's ex. But I was always afraid to take an HIV and AIDS test knowing that I was faithful to him. I got pregnant with our child, and at 7 months pregnant inquired about having an abortion because the pain of the relationship was just too much. I remember going to the doctor, and she had asked me, would I take one? And I said no. I said because I don't know where my husband has been and I'm not ready for the results. I thought that I was marrying a man of God. However, in my opinion, he was the man from hell.
When you thought about that, when you thought about the HIV testing, you had to go, the fear.
The heart palpitations, and just wondering like what my status is.
Was murder on your mind?
Murder was not on my mind, but in the marriage, I have told my husband several times if I had a gun, I probably would have blew your head off by now.
You know, it's very interesting because again, the first thing we want to do is retreat. We don't want to feel it. We want to numb ourselves. We don't want to know. We don't even want to know what's happening. But even recently, he would just ask me to marry him, right? And it was the first time that I had a man that I didn't have to borrow from someone else.
So here I was playing the part of a woman at the well, thirsty, with an amazing guy on my arm, only I couldn't tell anyone. Was not enough love for myself to say, Chi, you need to get out of this. Chi, this is not healthy. Until Christmas came 2.5 years later. And I can remember, you know, my daughter being home, Christmas being home, and I'm watching TV and I'm seeing the happy couples and Christmas time comes. And you know, there's always these warming stories. Only I got to share Christmas with him through a text message.
And then I got home and the other woman sent me an email who was living in the home. And it was in that instant that I began to thank God, because I didn't have a car. And the old me would have come and slashed your tires, bust your windows out, and then I would have thought about it later.
Wow. I went on finally, and that relationship went on for 2 years, until one day I woke up and I said, I'll be damned. I can't be a secret. I wanted love. I wanted love that did not come with secrecy. If you love someone, then you're screaming from the top rooftops.
I was screaming to the top of my lungs, and I was looking for the medicine. I grabbed a bottle of Jack Daniels, honey. Never forget it was on the kitchen counter. I poured all the pills out in the middle of the floor. I took a picture and I sent it to him. I said, this is what you've caused. I was screaming to the top of my lungs, and I was looking for the medicine. I grabbed a bottle of Jack Daniels, honey. Never forget it was on the kitchen counter. I poured all the pills out in the middle of the floor. I took a picture and I sent it to him. I said, this is what you've caused.
And I walked into another relationship with another pastor, because there was such an anointing, as they said, on my life that I looked like I should be a preacher's wife. I ran with it. I thought it was cute. Only
kick, holler, curse, spit, fight, get it all out.
I can't.
You got to.
Because the moment
you have to.
I let.
Because that's not what he wanted. Pastor wanted someone that he could go to bed with at night, but not bring home to his church. And then the third pastor.
Go.
You gotta let it go.
I feel like I won't come back up.
It's okay.
Sis right here want to say something. She is on the eyebrows. It's all in the eyebrows.
Yes.
You want to say something. I feel it right up in here. You got a note in your throat. You want to sing it out, don't you?
It was only 3 weeks into my marriage that I realized I'd made my mistake. The thing I want her to know, that I want you to know, is that it is okay to be angry.
Right.
Because anger is it's an emotion, and it's a natural emotion. And what's really crucial is how you act on that anger. But you have to allow yourself to be angry. The question, I guess, becomes, why did I stay if I knew 3 weeks into the marriage that I'd made a mistake?
Me acting on the anger is doing what I did just 3 hours ago. Instead of being angry, I still wanted to be loved, wanted, and needed. I'm back to popping the pills to suppress my pain. He didn't want my hips and my back. Sort of hard from a person that prostituted herself from the age of 10 until she was 35.
Your phony was just different from our phony.
Yeah.
I thought I was marrying a knight, but that night quickly evolved into a nightmare.
Right.
Your phony was just different.
From a man's point of view, they all had men, but they weren't real.
But there was a point.
For sure, it's no different. I mean, the only difference is our husbands or our exes at home.
Then my husband was on the down low.
I think that's the category. I don't want to try to speak for everybody, but whatever happened, as a woman, it don't matter what it is. You tend to feel less than.
That's right.
You tend to feel less than. And
I did it all because I was a success. I had a husband. So whatever he asked me to do, I did it. Oh yeah, with regard to the other 2 ladies that called, I'm not gonna get ghetto on you. So I contacted them. Are you on welfare? The answer was yes. Give me your case number and we'll take care of it.
Maybe about a month ago, you were going through a suicide crisis when you had decided you were going to end your life. And the post said something like, I'm ending it all.
I'm tired.
I was so mad at you. You know, I kept calling you. I said, I don't know this, sister. I know the story because we talked.
Right.
But I said, how dare her?
He always used the guest bathroom. A man that I'm married to, I'm now living with, doesn't want me to see him in the nude, I needed some understanding.
And what you don't understand, that there's a lot of people that is your sister's keeper.
That's right.
That's your keeper. After my third child from my first preacher husband, I had my tubes tied and burnt and got with my other husband, and he wanted a baby, I wanted a baby, and had the operation to have everything reversed, only to lose 2 babies. But when I came home from the hospital, I looked on the computer and he was watching porn. And he had also put an ad on Christian Mingle stating that he was a preacher looking for a wife. And I'm like, damn, I just had a miscarriage. I've been in the hospital for 10 days and this is what I get. It hurt, I didn't understand. My second marriage to a preacher was a 15-year marriage. And in that marriage, there was infidelity from day one. And I am once again warning you. And I remember times in the shower, just sitting at the bottom, just crying. And letting the water run over me and saying, God, I don't understand. It hurts too bad. But somehow you put on your face and you continue to smile.
You know, interesting enough, when I got to the third pastor, I thought that I got it right.
I was with a pastor because I thought that he had the ultimate authority. Next to God, I was under the illusion that he was supposed to love me the way God loved his church. I was supposed to be in that fitting. So I accepted dysfunction. I accepted being the jump off. I accepted being the fiance that never got married. I accepted being the other woman because I was still thinking that somewhere in the midst of there, I would be found. This, I can't look to her or him. I gotta keep looking to him. And even when all because that's how I'm gonna keep you. Oh, I gotta settle for a piece of you. Because a piece of you is better than having none of you. Because I believe that it wasn't gonna get no better. Take it for what it is because I'm getting too old for this. I got a 15-year-old at home that I've never been able to show an example of stability.
Actually living in a real life Genesis 16 scenario.
From here on out, no matter how many days I got, it's all about me.
But it was a church that turned their back on me.
And the only thing I can do is get angry because I didn't learn enough to prevent hurt from happening to her. And I'm asking God the same thing as I took down that whiskey.
Wow. I wanted to just die, and I remember my church, two of my sisters at the church, we were in the office, and I was crying and didn't know that I was crying this particular day, and the tears were just pouring, and I couldn't feel it. She started to ask me these questions about what had been going on and the lie had been going on, and I realized my marriage was falling apart and I was trying to fix it. I was infertile for 13 years, and at the end of my marriage, I became pregnant with our daughter. And I knew that I would have to watch Hagar raise my daughter. I was on everything I could. I mean, from swinging around the poles to do whatever I could do to try to fix it, try to save it. And I told her, I said, I just want to die. Well, in the state of Georgia, when you say that to somebody, you get 72 hours in a mental institution. I attempted suicide twice. But you know what? I always tell people I'm the phoenix that rose from the ashes because in spite of all of that, I'm yet holding on to my faith. It was a process, it was a journey. I attempted suicide twice. But you know what? I always tell people I'm the phoenix that rose from the ashes because in spite of all of that, I'm yet holding on to my faith. It was a process, it was a journey. I spent 2 days in the mental institution because nobody understood why I cried. Wow. The lady who checked me in, she said, I know you. You're a woman of God. What you doing in here? And you know how embarrassing that was for me?
she began to quote scriptures to me, and I stopped her. I said, I don't need you to quote scriptures to me because I can quote them to you backwards. I know the Bible. I was raised in a Christian school, in a Christian home. I know the Bible. But the Bible ain't got anything to do with why I'm crying. Wow. And I stayed there for 2.5 days, and the psychiatrist came in there and he said to me, he said, you're here because you're the type of person who has a crack in the wall, and instead of you fixing the crack, you paint over it and hang a picture. Wow. And he said, if you don't stop to deal with yourself, you won't have to be brought back here, you bring yourself. Wow. And I looked at that doctor who was not a Christian. Wow. And I said, you're exactly right. You are exactly right, but I promise you this. I said, one thing about it and 2 things for sure, you'll never see me here again. Wow.
Say what you said.
When I look in your eyes, I can't always look in your eyes because they were coming. I was one of those women. And all I wanted was love, but I was wrong. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John.
I began to question myself. What am I in this relationship? What part do I really play? Am I just a trophy? Because I do think I'm kind of cute. Am I what am I in this relationship?
For the woman that sits on the front row, I want your husband in church. That's not what I wanted, it's what I ended up. I'm sorry. I'll free her. I gotta free her. So that there's no more Dashes. So there's no more Rodas. So that there's no more Sharons. I gotta go free her. So I'm sorry. Because I don't want you to ever look at me and say, you remind me of that other woman. No, I'm a woman. Wrong place, wrong time, but I'm a woman. And I owe you an apology because I am my sister's keeper.
That's a nation of women. There's a waiting on
All these preachers' exes was going to the club tonight.
Who gives a damn what they think? It's not me.
I heard that. First of all,
What club we going to? I didn't know we were going to a club.
honey, yeah, we getting ready to get our dance on. We are going to the youth bar.
I got delivered from people a long time ago.
Sharon, you drinking tonight? Girl, you know I'm drinking. What you drinking? I had me a margarita.
Well, I'm not much of a clubber, but I'm going to the club, and that's just the bottom line.
I'm gonna get me either some Hennessy or some Pinnacle Colada Cherry Whip Vodka.
What? Is that one drink? Do we have to go to this club?
Is something wrong? What's the deal?
It's just a place that holds bad memories for me. When my marriage started falling apart, that was where I used to go twice a week. Actually, that was the first place I ever had a drink in my life, and that was October 5th, 2008. As a result of my first drink, which was an apple martini, I got addicted to them. And I just haven't been back there since
2008?
Wow. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, it's 14 now.
So, God for your deliverance, because we don't.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna swing out and ride me some bull tonight.
I never, ever, ever wanted to be a pastor's wife. Never. But I did it.
One drink because I had never had alcohol prior to that night, and then it went from that one night to twice a week, like I said, and it was just very hard to break that addiction.
To the club.
I shan't say another word.
Anyway.
In light of that, I'm thinking that maybe the U-Bar might not be such a great idea.
I know, all these emotions. It's just, it represented a rebellious time in my life. Like, that wasn't me going there twice a week. I'm not saying it's anything wrong with it for other people. I'm just saying for me personally.
It's not your spot.
Therapy. What was the motto in the therapy?
Ready or not, here we come.
Ready or not.
Ready or not.
Tashan, you staying? You want me to? You gonna be okay?
I'm gonna be fine.
You want me to stay? You sure? I will.
I'm good, girl.
That's right. Freaking get delivered.
too embarrassed to face the church, I was doing pretty good. He wanted to become a pastor. I never, ever, ever wanted to be a pastor's wife. Never. But I did it. And when I tell you I did it, I was the best first lady. Oh yeah, I was. Every position in the church that could be held, I did it. And for 16 years, I was the first lady.
The vast differences that we have. You know, although I'm not the first lady of the church anymore, there are still parts of me that still maintain the integrity of the role. At least I try to anyway. And when I got here, I realized that some of us are just a little more animated than others. I am a very quiet and reserved individual. And then I ran into some women who just have no chill at all, period. I know they talk about Jesus keep us near the cross. At least I tried to anyway. And when I got here, I realized that some of us are just a little more animated than others. I am a very quiet and reserved individual. And then I ran into some women who just have no chill at all, period.
Dashan, I like her, but she thinks she's Miss Fabulous Twirl. But today she did come off of her game a little bit, you know, Miss Holy Sanctified. She said, shit, that's big for her.
Jesus keep us near the cross.
I lost myself completely in the relationship. I didn't know who I was. I was always what everybody else wanted me to be. Whatever position I held, however, if it's a mother, if it's first lady, if it's a wife, I did. I gave it 125%. So I don't hold my head down, and I don't give a rat's ass what the church or anybody else have to say about me. From here on out, no matter how many days I got, it's all about me. And I'll say to that, it's about time.
Yeah, some of the ladies, they do things I don't do, won't ever do. Not now, not ever. But you know, that's the difference in our personalities, I guess.